today. It's been a while that I've come on here to do a video. I would call it a little sermon, right? Hope you all can hear me properly. My phone, the volume seems to be very low. So I'm here to discuss a few verses from a particular chapter that I think most of you are familiar with, right? I'm reviewing the book of Genesis, right? And I'm taking it as it comes, right? But as we know, God's word is past finding out. So essentially, since every time we open this word, we ask God's Spirit to reveal unto us His secret, right? He says He will do nothing but He revealeth His secrets unto His servants, the prophets, right? So therefore, there's always a word, right? There's always something new for God to unpack to you, right? And if at any points some things stands out, then it is our duty to unpack those very same secrets that He has revealed to us, right? So that chapter is none other than Genesis chapter 19. We are familiar with it. We are familiar with the situation that took place in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? We're living in a very sensitive time, very, very sensitive time, and you are unable to speak your mind freely. First of all, I would say we are to be tactful, and we are to be led by the Holy Spirit. And we shouldn't just blurt out any and everything. We have to be guided. That doesn't mean that the Holy Spirit, whatever He says, we shouldn't give it. We should give it. And each vessel, you and I, would be two different individuals. So you are a different vessel to me, and I'm a different vessel to you. So whatever the Holy Spirit speak, and through me, I gotta give it, right? So let's review some verses and let God's Spirit speak to us, right? So we're reviewing Genesis chapter 19. We know the scenario. The angels came over in that city. God basically sent them. You want to see if the cry of the people, or rather the cry of sin, have reached unto heaven. Usually that's what's happened. When the cry of a nation reaches unto heaven in terms of the sin of that nation, it's very grievous in the sight of God. And yes, sometimes He sends messengers. He sends messengers of warning. And in this case, unlike the scenario with Jonah and Nineveh, Jonah was the messenger sent there to warn them, right? And in possibly many other situations, many other scenarios. But did you notice that there was no messenger sent to warn Sodom and Gomorrah? What does that tell you, right? And yes, to some degree, the angels, while being there, taking record, they just came to take record to see if the sin of that nation if the cry of it is exactly what it is in the sight of God, and brethren, it was. Hence we see swift condemnation, swift destruction. Right? God is a merciful God. He's a loving God. And in no way, when you look at an event, a scenario that take place, you can charge God with being unjust. He's a just, true, merciful, and loving God. And when you get to understand the character of God fully, I mean, not fully, but when you get to understand who God is for yourself, you would understand that everything He does is just and true. Right? So, these men come across, but let me say this. This was a different case where no one was, like a messenger was sent from out of there to come and warn. And when I looked at it, I'm like, one of the reasons could very well be because Lot and his household was there. Lot and his household were there in that city representing Christianity. Question is, were they good witnesses or not? And throughout the chapter you're going to see if they were or not. There are some potent things there. Alright? So let's skip down to verse 4. It says, but before they lay down meaning the angels, because remember Lot, he pressured them. He said, hey, come over by me, spend the night. You understand? Wash your feet, get something to eat, relax. Right? And he was doing the very thing that we ought to do. Invite a stranger home when needs be. Right? Angel, he would have learned that from Abraham, right? Not to be neglectful to entertain strangers, for thereby they could very well be angels, and in this case these men were angels. Verse 4 it says, but before they lay down, meaning the angels, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. As I said, I highlight a few verses of chapter 19. This is the first one that I've highlighted. Sergio, why did you highlight this verse? Let me read it over. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. Now I started off with saying that we are in a sensitive generation. In fact, it seems like America on the whole is a sensitive nation. And you got to be politically correct. You have to watch what you say because you could offend someone. And to some degree it's true. You have to watch what you say. Right? No man liveth unto himself. If you are a wild boy, you got no family, you got no wife, whatever, by all means, you do what the Lord telling you to do. If that's how He expecting you to behave, right? But at the same time, this sensitive generation, listen, this current administration, from the beginning when they were campaigning, they had a lot of promises. Now, by no means I'm discussing politics here. Please don't get tied up. Right? I'm neither for any sides. But this, I remembered. In fact, I remember things from when Trump was campaigning and before. Right? Particular things. So this current administration, they were promising that if you vote for them, right, LGBTQ, right, would be protected. You would be protected, right? It even went on to say that children even under 10, 8 years of age and older would be protected from even their parents having a say as to if they choose to change their sex. Now tell me if that is not corruption to the fullest. Right? Now there's videos saying on birth papers you can't say which sex the child is. This is where we are coming to. And trust me, you and I, who representing God, would have to lift our voices high against this foolishness. You understand? Under the parents, I would say from age what? 18 and below or 20 and below, that those parents are accountable for their children. So you can't tell me that those parents don't have that say. And to stop that, now let me take it further. Parents, be very careful and keen to what your child listens to, what they watch, right? Many parents use giving the child the phone and tablets and stuff like that as a way out, as a way of escape. I want to relax. I know you might have a busy schedule, and you may come from work and you just want to chill, right? I have no children, and yeah, I'm like that too, right? Whether God will bless me with kids or not, we don't know. I don't know. But at the same time, the onus is on you to monitor the content. You don't give a child a gadget and say, okay, go over there and play and have fun and watch what you want. No. You choose the content and then you give it to them. You understand? Them children in no say here. You as the parents under God, you have that last say. God not expecting you to be authoritative and this, that, the other, so strict. But the onus is on you, especially in the time we're living in, where nearly all the content on TV, on the cartoons, everywhere, the animations, is homosexuality in there. So you have to watch the content in what is feeding your children. Right? Though the food that we eat, that goes through our mouth, we have to pay keen attention. And it should be healthy and nutritious. Much more is the mind. Right? What you feed your mind. In fact, the character is what we are taking with us to heaven. This earthly body is going to perish. So ask yourself, which one of those two that I mentioned is more important? Both are important, but they are not equally important. Right? So that is what I make mention of. So it tells me then that these kids, watching my time, these kids, both old and young. Right now we in a situation where, yes, parents still we have this say to an extent, right? And the truth is, what's happening is the kids are being influenced, but they are being influenced by adults. So in this scenario here, they compass the house roundabout, both old and young. So I'm saying we are right between Because I always used to say, when homosexuality knocked on the door of the church, yeah, God is saying, gonna say this far and no further. Right? Sometimes it's wise that we don't make any prophecies or whatever. But it can follow along. Because Christ did say, just as in the days of Lot. So, LGBT, the lifestyle is affecting all ages. But you see, the whole transgender and all these things is more, it's more of an identity crisis. And in many cases we know it's a cry for help. Right? Unlike any other sin, identity crisis, a cry for help. But you see, for you to reach a point where you surround the house and you say, bring out them fellas there, let me have my way with them, let me know them. In the Bible context, we don't know is have sex with them. It means that the kids have reached a point where their conscience have been seared. Reached the point where not even the Holy Spirit, he couldn't strive with them no longer. Kids we talking about here. And I'm saying, if we reach this point or allow this to continue, it's going to reach that point. You understand? Because we could reach that point, brethren. And we have to be careful. We got to be careful. Right? You're wondering if people had come before and pleaded with the men from Sodom, would they have changed? But you see, God moved wise in sending these men, and they being disguised, they disguised themselves as men. That was a wise move. They don't know it's angels. Lot didn't even know it was angels until they reveal themselves. But you see, verse 5 says, and they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. Right? And Lot went out. Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him. Verse 7. And said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Now, the point that I want to make is this, that if God had sent a messenger previously, would it have changed the trajectory of what went on in Sodom? And the reason why I'm saying it would not have changed a thing is because even when the angel struck these men with blindness, they were groping, right, in blindness, groping and trying to feel the door to still break it down. You understand? There was no humility there. There's no, okay, change your heart. Alright, let me back off. God's speaking here, boy. There's no change. So let me tell you, the cry of the sins of Sodom have reached unto heaven this far and no further. So that's why I said it would not have changed a thing. Alright, so let's go to Mr. Lot now. And Lot went out at the door. So the question is, did Lot make a difference? Lot, a Christian, his family, did they make a difference being there? Remember I said no messenger came, but they represented Christianity there, right? And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have 2 daughters, which have not known men. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you. And do ye to them as is good in your eyes. Even unto these men do nothing. For therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. So, listen to what he say at the end of verse 7. Do not so wickedly. So I'm trying to figure out, Lot, you saying, I pleading with all you, do not so wickedly. But you yourself wicked. Because you offering to give these men your daughters. Have your way with them. Guess what? I want to protect these strangers. I don't even want to safeguard my own daughters. No. I want to protect these strangers more than them. Virgin daughters. I want to protect them. So Lot has some wickedness in him. And this is the point that I want to stick here with this part. You see, how beneficial are we in this world? You and I. Yes, I'm speaking to myself. How beneficial are we in this world? You see, you want to know why it was ripe for that nation to be destroyed? One of the reasons it was ripe is because the corruption of sin, the deceitfulness of sin, started to corrupt Lot and his family and his household. We even go into that a little further, but starting to corrupt. He could not have even made a difference there. Right? To an extent. So my point is this. This is how I know when that time comes in God's eyes, because I can't tell you that time. For God to say to this world, right? There may be some judgments coming to America first for sodomy. But until he said this far and this further, no further for this world, you see, it will reach a point where the morality of Christianity, standing up for Christ, shining a light, being a witness, started to dwindle to the point where there is no distinction. You may say, well, Sergio, that happening now. Don't judge. Don't judge. Only God knows a man's heart. Only God knows what's going on. And you may be looking at this person and saying, but yeah, look at them. Only God knows, brethren. The mere fact that we have not reached there yet, God has a people who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. He has a people on this earth today. You and I mightn't see them, but he has a people. And I pray to be one of those people. You understand? Because God is too wise to tell you you are righteous. For you to walk with your chest puffed up. And I'm good. The last thing that God want to do is for us to reach a point that we good. That's when complacency happens. And God is too wise to do that. So we got to keep striving. In fact, these experiences that we go through, these trials and tribulations and all of that, we falling short of the righteousness of God. It's for a reason. It's to help us, you know. And unless you like Enoch, where God translated you, take you to heaven, you can't speak. You understand? You can't speak. We don't like to spend time in the mirror. I don't know, maybe we find we're looking too ugly. But it's easy to look at our man across there. Right? So, when the spiritual current of the nation, Christianity, I'm not saying religious, I'm saying Christianity. When Christ followers, their relationship, their light, their image, it's starting to die to the point where there is absolutely no distinction. In God's eyes, no one is representing him. He gotta come. Because if he doesn't come, then who will be left? Who will be left? Alright? So Lot and his family was losing their sense of morality. Standing up for Christ. They started to lose it. Alright? Skip on down to verse 12. And the men said unto Lot, Hast thou here any besides son-in-law, and thy sons, and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city? Bring them out of this place. So we know the situation. It appears to be that Lot has had 4 daughters. If not 4, more than 4. Because we know 2 were left back in the house. And the others were out there. Right? They wasn't living with Lot anymore. They probably was in the environment, but they wasn't living there. Right? Verse 13, For we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxen great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it. Verse 14, And Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get ye out of this place, for the Lord will destroy this city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. He seemed as one. Now, why Lot went to the sons-in-law first? In fact, he pleaded with the sons-in-law. You see, this here is a cry for men. God usually operates first by getting the attention of men. Men are the leaders of their home, leaders of their household, leaders of their wives, leaders of their children. And I'm speaking about a true leader. Right? To the full meaning of leadership. Men are the leaders. And a genuine woman will be looking for a leader. That's why I made a Facebook post the other day, and I said that ladies, get you a fella who will listen to the voice of God, and you will understand this, how important this is as time progresses. Trust me, it's important. It's that important, my people. Because if you don't have a leader, if you don't have a leader who is listening to the voice of God, if the head is corrupt, how the family go be? Now, if there are different scenarios where God have to bypass the man and go to the woman. Now, I experienced that. I experienced that in the past. When God's speaking to me and I'm not listening, because I'm so engrossed in sin. So you say, you know what? Let me speak to this man's wife. There are times when that happens, right? And trust me, he does it because he's merciful and he loves us. He loves me, a wretched, poor, wretched sinner like me. He loves me. So he went to my wife. And there are other scenarios. It may be the case where maybe the wife is a Christian and the husband is not, you know. There are scenarios like that. When you read the Bible, you will see that. You know, so the wife had to be the example unto her husband, her family. Right? There are scenarios like that. But God is calling for men. Men who will not be bought or sold. Men who will stand up for truth and righteousness, though the heavens fall. Men who will guide their homes. Guide their homes aright. Right? I'll say something further about men as we go. So he went to the in-laws, the sons-in-laws, to get their attention. But them wasn't having it. Them engrossed in sin and the lifestyle and the environment of Sodom. Destroy this place. What is man talking about? No. Of course he seemed fanatical. Hey, get up, boy. Hey, go and destroy this place. Now, you know, it's a sad thing, you know. It's a sad thing that if God really spoke to someone and this person decide to warn you, to warn me, or to share a message. And the funny thing is, we are so far from God that we mock and we laugh and we scoff and we say, he fanatical, but that man extreme. You understand? And then come to realize that what the man was saying was true because the thing happened one time. Right? There are many scenarios now on the flood and all these things. Coming to think about it, this idiot, who we call idiot, this fanatic, this extremist, this odd fella, this miserable fella, he like a damn leech, he like a pest. You coming to think about it, this man was speaking the truth, buddy. So I just say to myself, I just be careful, you know, because even if a man is an extremist and he weird, pay attention to it. Even if it don't come to pass. But as we give it time and it doesn't come to pass, yeah, we don't go and taunt him and say, you damn false prophet. No, but you know, not to listen, not really to pay too much attention to him afterwards. But give it time. Let time be the teacher, the revealer of all things. Right? So, alright. And when the morning arose, then the angels hastened Lot, saying, Arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. So, which means that the husbands of his other daughters didn't take heed. They didn't take heed. Because all he have here, all the angels telling him to take here is his wife and 2 daughters. The others didn't take heed. How sad that would have been, huh? The mother would have been sad. The father sad. And partly to do with the lingering spirit that he had. Was because his affection. I mean, his only fear. That's his blood. His affection towards them. You know. Them going to be destroyed. You know. So we can't leave out the emotions here. Or the affections or how people would feel. We can't leave it out. We have to show empathy. But we also have to listen to God. So the angels hasten him, saying, Arise, take thy wife, take thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city. Verse 16, and while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters. The Lord being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth, and set him without the city. The Lord being merciful unto him, not unto them, and unto him. Why? Because he's the leader. The family go rise no higher, you know. So if you and I are sitting hens, we lingering. You understand? I have a part I want to stick in here later on. But we lingering. Because God loves us, sometimes he had to trust us all by force. You know? As if we wanted to. Because clearly we see what happened to Lot's wife later. Right? Skip on down to verse 20. Behold, now this city is near to flee unto. So this is what Lot telling the angels. Behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. Now let me say this. The strife between Abraham's herdsmen and Lot's herdsmen. That's what caused the separation. From him and Abraham separated. I don't think Abraham and Lot themselves had issues. But, you know, other people involved gonna have some issues. So, he pitched his tent towards Sodom. The land is fruitful. The land is luscious. Oh man, look at stuff. And that's the thing, I don't believe, because if the Bible says he pitched his tent towards Sodom, it can't mean that Lot ended up in Sodom when he separated from Abraham. It can't mean that. So it had to be that step by step, he ended up in Sodom. It had to be that he ended up there eventually. It's fruitful. Yeah, but real business, money. To the expense of what? His wife turned into a pillar of salt because she looked back. Right? No one knows to the extent of everything or what caused her to look back. We just know that she looked back. So it could be her children. Right? And it could be the possessions and stuff that she have accumulated. They have accumulated. Now let me tell you, living here, right? God has blessed us with this home, right? Eventually, I'll introduce you to my dwelling place. But living here while driving, passing other houses, you know what I see? God forbid. And I'm saying this by God's grace, that to keep us humble, because you don't want to say. You don't want to bring up a sinner. You don't want to bring up something and then you fall in the same thing, right? So you're passing by, and all you see is many houses, and all of the houses have garages. My garage is basically, you can say, a 3-car garage, right? But we're gonna use it as a 2-car garage, and then the other part is gonna be, I guess, for tools and exercising and stuff like that, right? But when you pass by all them houses, time running, but all them houses, the cars park outside. And then many times I drive by, the garage door open, and all you see is a bunch of things. So whether they move from other houses to come to this house, whether they move from apartments to come here, I don't know. But it's full up. You can't even park your car. You can't even move. So we talk about accumulating stuff here. My philosophy, how I'm living my life, is whatever I need, I put it into the hands of the Lord, and I know if He desires me to have it, I'm going to have it. Right? Sometimes, you know, you need something, so you go buy it. But I want my garage to be able to hold my 2 cars and my other stuff that I want to put at the side for the duration of time that God will have us live here. Right? Right now inside my house don't have much stuff. But I like the freedom. I like the space. And it's enjoyable. All this stuff. All you need is what you really need, you know. All you need is what you really need. So they would have accumulated so many stuff to the point where, yeah, you know, her affections as well would have been towards Sodom. Right? Drop down to 20. Behold, now this city is near to flee unto. So yeah, I was saying he pitched his tent towards Sodom. Eventually he ended up inside. So I'm saying to myself, one warning sign would have been when it had the strife between the nations and they kidnapped Lot and others, and Abraham saddled his men. Hey, we levy road, bro. Going to fight off them men to get back Lot. You don't think that might have been time to tell Lot, hey, what going on? Hey, we not safe here, you know. I mean, we not safe nowhere. You're only safe where God is. But could I tell you something? You're not safe here, brother. Go back where you was. Even himself, if he didn't go back with Abraham, he pitched his tent towards Sodom. So go back down. Right? Go back down. So, alright. So behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me. So in the midst of this serious thing, he's pleading with God. Hey, pleading with them. Let me flee unto this little one. You know what he's governed by? He's governed by fear. And when I read it, I understood. You know why? Because trust me, it's not an easy thing to step out in faith. In fact, we should have. And say, okay, God tell us to live a certain way. Let we branch off. Let we do that. Many points in times previously, I was timid. You know. And I can tell you that when I first moved in here, the first week, I was fearful. Yeah, as a grown man, I was fearful. A new place, you're surrounded by bush. 1 or 2 neighbors, but you're surrounded by bush. You understand? It's not like if you have a fence. Not that a fence will just totally secure you. But for the first week, yeah, I'm driving out to work, pitch black, dirt road, all 1.5 miles to go out is dirt road. And it's like there's a fear in my heart, boy. And eventually I had to give it to God. I said, God, take this away. You understand? I'm supposed to be the protector of the family. I'm not supposed to be fearful like that. But I mean change and transition into new. Who are them little baby bird by? I understand. You understand? Change is not an easy thing, but it's something that we have to confront. And yeah. So I understand, but at the same time, he's still asking, is this not a little one? Is this not a little one? So he's governed by fear, brethren. If I do get to do a video about my experience with transitioning, getting this house and stuff like that, you know, if I do get to, you will get to know my little experience. Right? It's not easy. It's a beautiful and wonderful thing. Being here, trust me, in the open air, fresh air, everything, it's beautiful. Right? Being here for going on 2 months, would I change it for the world? Nah. I'm not going back. And I'll only go back if God say, hey, this is what I want you to do. Right? So behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? Right? Skip on down to 26. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. We already discussed that. Verse 29. And it came to pass when God destroyed the cities of the plain that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in the which Lot dwelt. The reason why I stick a pin on, on verse 29 is because you remember when Abraham was pleading, he was conversating with God and said, hey, for 50, would you destroy? And then he went straight down to 10. And God promised him. Right? He promised that man of God, that prophet, for 10's sake he wouldn't destroy. So we know the scenario. Not even 10 was saved. The Bible said just Lot. It could mean Lot was a just man, or it could mean just Lot, just him alone. Because you know what happened to his 2 daughters. We know what happened to his wife, and we know what happened to his other daughters and sons-in-laws. So God practically didn't destroy, to me, he didn't destroy Sodom, or rather, one was saved. So God remembered Abraham. So though he didn't preserve the nation of Sodom, he saved Lot. He was merciful unto Lot. And by God's grace, may God have mercy on us. May God have mercy on us. Verse 30, and Lot went up out of Zoar. So remember when verse 20, and he say, is this not a little one to flee unto? Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? Check verse 30. And Lot went up out of Zoar, that is the same little one, and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zoar. And he dwelt in a cave, he and his 2 daughters there. So I guess reason, proper judgment prevail. And yeah, he probably tell himself, I being unreasonable here. Gotta be smart. So he feared. Right, so basically I'm gonna close here. Now, brethren, this is a solemn message. And I don't wanna, many times this is what we do. We share a message and might be complacent. and we might, go back to our normal ways. But by God's grace, I pray that this solemn message will be lodged deeply into our hearts. Right? And yes, I did say that I would come back to men. Men, if you already know what God told you, if you already know what that God said, hey, you the protector of your family, it means their environment too, where you all live, especially those who have kids and a wife. I don't even have kids. The plea is to find your dwelling place. You could have a piece of land and that kind of stuff. Grow your own food and stuff like that. So men, the onus would be on you. The onus will be on you to make a move, to step out in faith. You're gonna have opposition. Not even your wife would want to do it. But if you believe that God telling you to do something, as the man of the house, you gotta get up and do it, You gotta get up and do it. When God came to Abraham, because he was so keen to the voice and the Spirit of God, that get up and take your son, your only son, and sacrifice him. Why you think he didn't go and consult his wife? You see, there are things, brethren, that when God says something, do even share it with your wife. You do even have to, and you do even need to, and you shouldn't share it with your wife. And we know for many reasons why. But don't share it with your wife. And I'm talking about serious things from God. I don't mean you're doing foolishness. I say, yeah, boy, I'm gonna keep that away from my wife. Right? But yes, the onus is on you men. I'm pleading for men. I'm speaking to you. And those women who are listening to my voice. If your husband today is a sitting hen, spinning top in mud, you are convicted, and you had to do the work. If you had to do all you can to save your family, sister, do it. Do it. But the cry and the call is for men to listen. Right? So I've spent enough time here, almost an hour. Right? Sergio is a long-winded guy. Nonetheless, thanks for listening. I hope this message would have blessed your heart, touched your heart. And may God continue to bless us. May God continue to keep us. May God continue to make His face shine upon us. But not only that, may God keep us in this time. Keep us close to His word, close to His heart. And so much so that we don't become to the point where there is no distinction. I would say a lot more people is not coming to Christianity because this gospel shall be preached for a witness. So that should tell us something, right? Understand? I'm not where I'm supposed to be, but God is working on us, brethren. He's working on us, right? So blessings, right? Take a little view. Right, there's the road there, dirt road. This is in the back of the yard there, but on the side of the house. You have the back, right? So blessings on the inside, blessings on the outside. May God continue to be with you.